Hi everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the changes, balance 14.6 or whatever that was. Yeah, balance 14.6. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the changes in general to all units that has been affected. Alright, so yeah, before we start, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification to all notifications so you're not going to miss an upload or stream from my channel. Might as well smash the like button, I'd highly appreciate it. So, without further ado, let's go jump straight into it. Now, we're gonna go ahead and go first at the first unit that has been changed was the assaults. Okay, now the assaults. Alright, the reason why this was changed was that, of course, the survivability increased due to the recent balance changes of the upgrades, making all units and buildings more durable, hence the reason why the assault are able to fire an extra grenade, which deals a chunk of damage to all units that are clumped up. Regardless of which unit that may be, a coyote or most likely infantry, because they are more clumped up than that of the vehicles, basically are going to be affected by the assaults. Hence the reason why they won most oftenly, alright, in an infantry warfare. Hence the reason why they actually nerfed the explosion radius. Okay, let me tone this down a bit. Wait. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Let's restart the game. So yeah, they toned down the explosion radius by a bit to, of course, make it more fair and balanced for infantry against infantry, especially against clashes of infantries. Alright, so they actually tone it down, which is a very good thing because at lower ranks, players tend to have a very hard time at lower ranks, especially for resistance players, to get rid of assaults. Alright, that is actually the main reason as to why they changed it. Now, let's move on to the torrents. Okay, now, as you guys can see, the torrents damage was increased by a little bit, by 5% base value and by 10% at upgrade value. So basically, at each upgrades, there will be, oh wow, there's actually higher damage increase as you upgrade the torrent, meaning it will be more beneficial for you to upgrade it. And the reason for that would be there, of course, due to the fact that all buildings and units survivability increased. Of course, the effectivity of long-range units, which has a long reload time, a long duration of reload time, has been effective as well. Now, meaning that when, the units takes less damage in general, all right? So they increase the damage to make it more balanced and equalized on them. Now, for the mammoths, they increase the base value of the base and the upgrade only. Okay, so I'll show you that part in a bit, but first, let's go straight into the torrent right here. I do not have this maxed out. It is only maxed out for the previous version. Okay, so I have 668 damage right there. Now, you can actually increase the damage of the missile by upgrading this MLRS right here. By upgrading this weapon, you can unlock more missile upgrades, or rocket upgrades rather. So, and that'll increase your torrent range exponentially. Alright, the range and the damage, of course. Now, don't forget to upgrade the targeting system, as this will allow you to upgrade the guns even further. Okay, of course, the better targeting system, the better or the more accurate it will be, although it is at 51.3, but still it launches a lot of missiles. And don't forget, the explosion radius is 2 cells. Very nice, I have to say. This makes siege units more plausible to use. Now let's go over and switch over to the resistance. Excuse me. So we're going to switch it up to the resistance, and let's have a look at the snipers. Oh, okay, I have an upgrade. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay. Oh, God. Okay, I don't I'm not going to buy that. Oh, wow. Okay, so I can upgrade my Seraph, my Leviathan. Oh, that's what it's called, Leviathan. Um, Whatever. Okay, so let's just upgrade the speed once more. Or wait, um, yeah, let's just upgrade this and this as well. Okay, there goes. All right, so looking at the sniper. Okay, so let's move on to the sniper before we move on to the mammoths. The sniper in general became completely useless, and snipers, I'm not going to admit, they are very effective at lower ranks due to the fact that at lower ranks everything has slower movement speed, even fire assaults, heavy assaults, fortress, hammers, and so on. Okay, which makes the sniper an ideal infantry against targets that are far away from you. Now, looking at my sniper right here, this upgrade of mine for my sniper has been for like when I was level 20. Yeah, level 20 during the old leveling system before the rank system ever came to be. Alright, so this was the time that I was using snipers. So basically, these are good when I was, say for example, rank 7. Yeah, these are very good when I was rank 7. When I was rank 7. Alright, so these are very good. So they increase the damage value of the sniper at the base and the upgrade value. So overall, it should give you a ton of increase in regards to the armor piercing ammo, the damage on an armor versus one, meaning infantry. Okay, well, I have to admit, the damage on level 2 armor is not really that bad. So if you spam these things, you can say goodbye to those hammers. Given the how accurate they can be, I think they can be as accurate as like a typhoon with 99% accuracy, since they are not moving, they are stationary, which also makes them very effective. Now, snipers are also very effective against flame assaults, which, the recent balance before the balance 14.6, snipers are now able to hit flame assaults while they are flying. Okay, so they are able to hit it. Okay, we move on to the mammoths. Now, guys, the mammoths. Wow, looking at it here, the mammoths already has more damage capacity than that of my torrents. Okay, for the Confederation, although they almost have the same upgrade. See, they almost have the same upgrade here, and of course, judging by the looks of that, the mammoths forte is its range. It has a 16 range. The damage to armor level 3 is 704 and 704, 703 and 704 from armor 2 to armor 3. Explosion radius of 2, accuracy of 84. That's not actually bad. And so, looking at it here, due to the fact that survivability again of units and buildings has been increased, in general, mammoths became less effective due to the longer reload time, as you can see, longer waiting period to reload, and so on, but the damage has actually been nerfed. Alright, due to the survivability, in which everything in the game takes less damage in general. Alright, so they increase the damage to make them more plausible to be used for the resistance, obviously. Alright, so yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, I'll be using mammoths now, like level 3 HQ, Mammoth, Jaguar, Grenadier, and some Dragonfly, Porcupine. Army combination at medium-sized map would be super phenomenal. Okay, so moving on to the Poseidon, or the Barracuda first. Now, the Barracuda, same thing, due to the fact that, survivability of all buildings and units has been increased, like the HP and the armor. Basically, the Poseidon and the Barracuda became almost obsolete, and that's why many players now uses tier 2 Vikings or alligators to get rid of any buildings or defensive building. They'll just simply outnumber it and makes a huge chunk of those units and then just overpower you or whatever, due to the fact that the artillery or the long-range units such as the Poseidon or the Barracuda are almost useless. I mean, just look at the damage of it. I mean, mine is not max. It's 887, which is per missile. Alright, so my alligator does a lot more than that. See? 1,340. Okay, but of course, this is given that my Barracuda are not max. Okay, with this new upgrade, of course. Alright, now the same thing applies to the Poseidon. Let's switch over. And here goes the Poseidon. Looking at my Poseidon right here, just look at it, man. Just look at my Poseidon. It deals more damage than that of the Barracuda. Okay, so 971 to armor level 2 and 924 to armor level 3. So in general, what makes the Poseidon a lot more usable right now is due to the buff. Okay, so it makes the Poseidon more of an option to siege those heavily guarded area of the base on the shore. Alright, so using this baby right here, not only it's very durable and acts like an anti-air against hawks and stuff, you can now absolutely use this to, of course, lay siege to your enemy base. Just look at it here right now. They increase the damage to armor level 2 and 3, and that really helps, basically. Alright. Yeah. And that is actually one of the main reasons why you need to buff it, because sieging takes a longer, grueling time, whereas, producing Vikings and alligators to just outright smash your enemy takes shorter period of time. However, this makes the units obsolete, hence the reason why they are buffed. Okay, so we move on to the next list right here, to the Vertex. Looking at the Vertex right here, man, wow. Okay, Vertex speed has been changed from 540. Okay, the max speed of the Vertex prior to the balance change or the new upgrade system was 540. After the new balance system, it became 510, and now they reduced it once more to 450. Why? Right? Why? Now the answer is, why is that? So it's because of the Vertex are simply outright savage when it comes to avoiding anti-air missiles from both factions. Given that they are very well controlled or very well microed, they can definitely avoid any anti-air from both factions, especially from porcupines or anti-air of the resistance, which are basically slower than that of the anti-air burst of the Confederation. But regardless, it is a given fact that the Vertex can avoid both missiles or anti-air missiles from both factions. This has been tested and proven, I don't know, for years. So this actual thing is actually a very good change and makes the game more balanced to both faction. Whereas both faction, you can simply, spam Vertex and spam assaults, heavy assaults, and then basically win. Okay. Alright. So this also makes the game, makes the Avia controlling or micro and controlling a separate portion of the army much easier due to the fact that the Hawk and the Vertex moves slower. Alright, so I think that's actually very good. I mean, that's a very good move right there, making the Avia more balanced as it is, because both Avia from both faction are kind of like monsters when it comes to masses, like seriously. I mean, what's the point of having a Typhoon or a Porcupine if you encounter someone with a very huge chunk of Vertex and so on? Okay, now we move on to the Hawks. The changes of the Hawks has been, the movement speed has also been reduced by 17%, and it is, of course, not really that a good of an idea, but it's actually balanced that way. Now, to have a look at it this way, the slower the Hawk, the more damage it can deal, due to the fact that it can stay within the gun radius or the radius or range of the machine gun. wherein which the Hawk can fire at will more often than when the Hawk was faster, because the more that the Hawk stays in range of the machine gun from firing at the enemy buildings or whatever, it can literally deal more damage that way. All right, because the weapons, the machine gun reloads quite fast, and I don't buy this. Okay, so yeah, I mean, just look at my Hawks. It is maxed out for the previous version of the game. All right, so yes, just look at the reload time of that, 342. Yes, the accuracy may be bad, but if you're actually having like 20 plus or 30 plus Hawks, 24 Hawks with some porcupines guarding it to, of course, and intercept any Vertex that will come along with it, to intercept your Hawks, then basically the Hawks will deal a huge chunk of damage. Sometimes they will actually destroy a building that was not literally targeted by the player, and that building that will be destroyed due to the machine gun's damage will act as a collateral damage. That's what's good about the Hawk. The Hawks are mainly more effective if you use them on masses, alright? So I just wanted to let you know on this. Now, their max speed was 450 and now has been reduced to 372. Now, this makes using the Hawk more effective, in my opinion, okay? This makes Hawks easier to use, aside from which, they are now going to be more balanced. So, of course, the Typhoons, when marching, they are not at their full potential. So basically, a player will have the ability to siege, or as Confederation player, you can actually siege your Typhoons on time before the Hawk gets away and then gets a second round at those babies. Alright? And generally, Hawks will deal more damage the slower the speed. Alright? Now, moving on to Dragonfly. Survivability of the Dragonfly has been decreased. Why? Okay. The reason why is that when you combine Dragonfly and Hawks, they're actually a very good combination in late game, given that the player managed to put up to HQ level 5 very quickly to have an uncertainable amount of Hawks to actually target you. Now, the Dragonfly is used to act as a bait to anti-air, because Typhoons and anti-air towers or platforms will mainly target the Dragonfly in range instead of the Hawks itself. Alright, so the survivability of the Dragonfly for that reason has been decreased. It has been nerfed. Now, this does not mean that the Dragonfly is bad. Looking at the Dragonfly right here, its damage is actually quite decent, even without the new upgrades. Alright, I actually like it. Same thing goes to the Cyclones. Moving on to the Cyclones here. And there goes. So the Cyclones has actually been nerfed in terms of survivability. Same thing as the Dragonfly. It can actually be used to spam, like spamming. Crap. Okay, well, yeah, there goes. Let me fix that real quick. Alright, there goes. So if someone like a player, I've actually introduced that Cyclone spamming stuff, so that was fun. However, due to the survivability of the Cyclones alone, the resistance lacks the burst ability to get rid of the Cyclones in general before they can actually get en masse on a critical number, which destroys plenty of units one shot, given that there's like a huge chunk of Cyclone combined with like 8 to 12 Vertex, and they're pretty much unstoppable. Yeah, and you can't get near anywhere a resistance or a Confederation base with rocket towers with JCP with a ton of Cyclones. Just trust me on that. Alright, especially if the Cyclone spammer is actually a pretty well-versed Confederation player who knows how to handle Cyclones. So yeah, this is my Cyclones, right, for rank 21, alright, based on the previous version. So basically, they decreased it for the reason of, not spamming it too much, versus, I guess, versus resistance. versus the Porcupines, which deals a lot less burst damage than that of the Typhoons. So that in itself is actually more balanced, and there will be less of a headache when it comes to dealing with Cyclones, aside from the nerf of having 3 CP and so on. Okay, now let's move on to the Bombers. Okay, Bombers in general, the damage to the Bombers, was indirectly nerfed due to the fact that more everything in the game has increased its survivability and buildings. So basically, Thors and Albatross are actually good versus buildings. However, the Thors, they could no longer one-shot an army, given that you have two Thors, no longer one-shotting everything. But of course, due to the fact that the reduced slow, the slower movement speed of both the Albatross and the Thor, um, they are slower, yes, which makes it easier for you to calculate or compute where the enemy will be. However, they will pack more punch, right? The slower, so basically they became slower, however, they pack more punch, meaning that the Thor can now insta-shot or insta-kill an army once more due to the fact that the damage has been increased in exchange for the slower movement speed. Now that also applies to the Albatross. Now we'll go over the Albatross real quick. Okay, moving on to the Albatross. Ta-da! Now, the Albatross actually packs a lot of damage, although my Albatross is not upgraded for rank 26, previous version. Although it has a good chunk of armor and also, HP and armor, but the damage has also been increased. Yes, the movement speed has now been, lowered, but the Albatross by default will pack more punch now due to the fact that it has 5 bombs and can basically destroy Zeus, Shield, and Typhoon more effectively by now due to the fact that it packs more damage per each bomb that it drops. Alright, although I'm not saying that it can destroy it, but still, more damage to it means a lot better due to the fact also that Confederation buildings by default are actually a little bit more tougher than that of the Resistance factories, administrative buildings, and so on. Okay, so Confederation buildings has some of the buildings has plus 1000 armor, plus 1000 HP and plus 10 armor by default or plus 5 armor by default. So yes, that's the reason why the Albatross has an extra bomb. Alright, now I actually appreciate this kind of move from Gear Games. I really like it, making the Avia a little bit slower. So using a Hawk in conjunction with the Albatross will be more plausible as it will help the bomber's survivability, and using a Porcupine, along with it, this actually makes the game more diverse for the Resistance. And the same thing applies to the Confederation. So you simply cannot outspam or produce a bunch of bombers and then just throw them at the enemy's base and live due to the speed. But now that's not going to be the case. You need to have an Avia, an anti-bomber, and so on. Or you need to have like a distraction which will attract the fire of those anti-air, diverting the missiles of the anti-air to that distraction to avoid those anti-air fighting or firing at your Albatross or Thors. So I really like it, to be honest. And of course, we do have the second change, which is the the units turning around. That change has yet to be implemented in the game, and I am sad to say that I cannot replicate it. I cannot really replicate that stuff because it hasn't been implemented in the game. Now, the idea in general was that if your Avia fired something at a unit or something, it will automatically turn around, lessening the micro stress of micro from both the player and from the player in general. So basically, this will allow you to use Avia more effective while using other units at your arsenal, which makes it easier for both players, for both factions, to control their stuff. Okay, oh god. Let's skip this one right here. Oh, let's not miss that blast, of course. Ah, very satisfying. Okay, so let's produce the Vertex. Okay, first Vertex is out. Now, one thing you will notice is that when you patrol a Vertex onto something that is that is stationary or whatever, previously the Vertex, when you set it on patrol mode, it will fire at any enemy that it can see. So let's go ahead and test that theory and try to simulate that firing or whatever stuff. Let's put the Vertex patrol over here. Let's see if it will fire and then move backwards. No, it will not. Okay, so let's try differently this time around. Okay, here goes. No, it still won't do it. See, it still won't fly back. But the idea is that, it will automatically retreat. See, it will automatically retreat to avoid any anti-air. See, the idea here is actually quite good. Ta-da! Alright, well, I honestly like that idea. If they manage to pull that off quite nicely, and the unmicroed automatic thing from the Avia or the Hawk will mean that if you lag in the game, you can still use Avia, because your Avia will not act like a like some kind of dumb pilots, wherein which they will head straight to the enemy base, regardless if you tried and press the stop button plenty of times due to that feature. And I really, really love that idea. Okay, so yeah. One more hit. One more hit. Love it. Okay. Now, they also mentioned that the super weapons has now been super not very effective at all, due to the fact that it's actually, buildings and stuff are actually more durable now than that those stuff right there, like those HP and so on. So higher durability or higher survivability means that the super weapons will actually be less effective. So in general, they made it more effective by buffing the super weapons. Okay. So in this case, super weapons in general, wow. Okay. And they also treated the mines with justice now. Alright, so let's go ahead and review that real quick. Oh wow, I got the achievement by producing 4 Vertex in the campaign. Wow, I am now a pro player. Okay, now let's go over the super weapons. Now the super weapons, due to the fact that, seriously, man, the super weapons has lost their damage. It's most likely, sometimes or most of the times, if you go up against a maxed out player with both buildings and stuff, your super weapon might as well just use bombers. Alright, it's not effective due to the fact that the buildings and units are actually more durable now. So they increased the damage by a little bit. Mainly the space strike by 15%, and of course the nuclear by 30%. Okay, why 30% for the nuclear? Because nuclear in general deals a lot less damage than that of the space strike, so it actually evens it out. Alright, so moving forward to the minefields. Now, here are the minefields. So we have 3 types of mines. I will not recommend Scorpio mine though. Scorpio mine takes less, they deal a lot less damage to both infantry and tanks and so on. It is better to use either the frog mine or the lizard mine. But based on the rank, lizard mines are most oftenly used at higher ranks than that of the frog mines due to the absence of infantry at higher ranks. At lower ranks, resistance players tend to use frog mines due to the fact that heavy assaults and flame assaults or assault spam are actually a thing. That's why frog mines are used more oftenly at lower ranks. Now, based on the recent changes in the minefields, they made the minefields more expensive, but also at the same time deal less damage. So that in itself is actually a not a good thing. So they balanced it out by increasing the damage of the minefields by 10%, and they also increased the damage per upgrade. So I absolutely love that approach. Like looking at it here, the minefields of the resistance will now actually deal a lot more damage, especially with the survivability of each unit from the Confederation, like the Zeus, with a shield. The previous minefields after the nerf was, almost doing no damage at all. Right? It's not even weakening it; it's like tickling it. So better use a heavy assault or a grenadier to damage the Zeus with a shield. It's better to use that option instead of laying the minefields. But now, laying minefields at the key location of your base will actually help you now due to the damage increase to armor level 3. And just look at the damage of my lizard mines. Those are not good, but just look at it. It's like an Albatross dropping a bomb at a Confederation unit for their lizard mines. Now, let's see here. Frog mines, 1,217. So, again, guys, for the resistance, the minefields are not aimed to destroy everything the Confederation has, but instead to weaken it before it approaches your base so you can engage it and win a battle. Or that certain clash. The purpose of the minefields are to weaken the attack, not destroy it as a whole. Alright? So there's that misunderstanding that most resistance players has. Alright? So yes, I think that concludes the video. And also there's like a new map. Alright, let's go ahead and show this map right here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at that map. Desert Treasure. Okay, where is that map, dude? I don't see it here. Where is that? Are you serious? Okay. Fort Chitin, the Canyon, Area of Scavengers, Deadly Cliff, okay, Desert Cross, are you serious? There's like a lot of maps now. Third Wheel is also a new map. Heart of War. Okay, this is definitely a new map here, man. New map, Heart of War. Okay, Desert Treasure is also a new map. Plausible for 3 versus... Oh, sorry. Okay, very, very applicable to 3 versus 3 or 2 versus 2 or 1 versus 1. Okay, so yeah, and 4 versus... Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's basically it. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, although it's actually quite long, but I really had to reiterate those changes for you guys to understand. And again, the minefields are the most commonly misunderstood feature of the resistance. It's not meant to destroy stuff, it is meant to weaken the enemy, alright, the enemy attack or the enemy army before it gets to your base. Now, I would highly recommend for you to update the game, because basically the new feature of the aircraft wherein which it automatically turns back after it fires its salvo will absolutely be working out, especially given the lag and so on. Alright, I really am excited to check that part, although I already had tested it, so yeah. Okay, well, Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day and good luck with your battles. Bye, everyone.